Hello YouTubies, this is King Scribe. Thanks for watching this YouTube video. Now I want to talk about The Maze Runner, which is a movie I've seen quite recently. And this movie kind of disappointed me. It was a good movie, but I think it had the potential to be a classic if it went down the right road. And it didn't go down that road. It just went down the road where it would have just been classed as a good movie, a reasonable sci-fi movie. There are areas in it that I think could have been improved, and if they did do this improvements, it would have gone down very good with the sci-fi community, especially the people who want to go to see films in a movie, and in the future too, when people want to show it to their family members, teenagers and adults who watch it together as a family. I think these opinions of mine would actually improve the movie, and maybe they could actually make a similar movie in the future and just improve on this. The first thing I would like to mention is the movie wasn't quite long enough. I mean, an hour and 40 minutes to do a sci-fi thriller adventure sort of movie I think is too little to build up the suspense, to build up the story, to build up the characters, to build up the adventure with inside the maze. And because of this, if you compare it to something like, let's say, Lord of the Rings. I mean, Lord of the Rings is over 2.5 hours. Very successful movies, very good movies, some of the best movies that have been created in the last 30, 40 years. Some of the best movies of all time, actually. And they're adventure movies, and they work, despite the fact they're being longer. I mean, there is a certain quality in quantity. So when you have a certain amount of quantity, you also create quality. So don't forget that. So it's the same with Lord of the Rings in comparison to The Maze Runner. Because it doesn't have enough time, and time is basically quality in itself, it means it doesn't complete everything it's set out to do. Right? Now, when I was looking at it, the maze, inside the maze looked good on the first viewing. The first start of it looked a bit like a big vagina opening up, which is alright, somebody's legs or whatever. Sorry, I'm offending some people, but it does, right? And then you get this sort of suspense building up, but it was very slight. And then he went into the maze for the night after being told nobody's ever survived. Of course he was going to survive, and we see the giant spiders or whatever, and he kills one after about being in the maze for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then he comes out alive, and everybody's impressed and says, wow, amazing, right? And it's for 3 or 4 minutes. And then he goes in again, right? This time to look around because they find this little thing. And it's for a few minutes. And he goes back out and then goes in again. And for another few minutes. So the amount of time that they actually spend in the maze, which is what this movie's all about, is very little. And I have to mark them down for that. I mean, the suspense, building up suspense is alright, but I'm not even sure these people who acted in the movie were suitable for the role, actually. I think it would have suited some other people much far better than them, but of course you've got to include new actors into the role, and they didn't do too bad. It wasn't their fault. The maze should have been better, right? It should have been bigger. I mean, I got the feeling that it wasn't really a maze when I was watching it. It was just a bit of ruins, and you walk around and you try to find an exit, and that's it. But there wasn't really an exploring. It's supposed to be an adventure movie, an exploring, a mystery sort of movie, maybe working out something a bit more intelligently. It didn't feel like that. I mean, of course, the maze was changing all the time, and these people were allegedly disappearing for half the day or even longer before they came back out the maze. It didn't feel like the maze was that big. It just felt it was normal size. And then we also get these people in the movie who say, what happens if you climb over? And they say, where you go from there? Of course, the maze has gaps in it, so if you're climbing over, you still got to somehow get across to the other side. Well, I mean, there's ways around that. Of course, this is at night, so you got the big spiders to worry about. But even if you got spiders to worry about, that doesn't really mean much. I mean, what stops them from climbing over the top of it and getting the people anyway? Of course, you still got those little things that restrict their movements or increase their movements. And I think I've got a spider in me hat now. But anyway, yeah, the bad guys win it are pretty okay. I mean, the start it was okay. It just didn't have enough adventure. It just didn't feel like an adventure. It just felt like a society built up around, inside the maze, in the centre of it, and that's all you got. If you want to make a movie like this, what you need to do, I mean, I understand these things are difficult, is include some adventure within the maze, and that will take over an hour. All right, that will take well over an hour to get that right. I mean, people keep on coming back in and out of the maze, will be okay, but you want to make it more adventurous. You want to get some trolls in there, you want to get some witches in there or something. Be creative in your ideas. I mean, of course it's a sci-fi, so maybe not witches, but big spiders, that's fine. Trolls, maybe, deformed zombies. You could really come up with some interesting ideas if you really wanted to. It didn't feel like a maze. It just didn't feel like a maze. It didn't feel like it was working for me. So the promise wasn't delivered. Therefore, the movie is just alright. It's like a 5 out of 10. It could have been much better than that. It really had good promise. It was a good premise, and you could have had that maze going on and on and on for almost ever. For like the size of a whole island. For 20-30 miles, you could really go on with that maze if you really wanted to. But oh no, it was just a maze, and you look over the helicopter and you can see it's not that big, it's not that impressive. It really didn't do anything then. I mean, where was the adventure there? The adventure was just trying to kill spiders so you can actually open up a portal and then work out a code, and that's it. You just go through. So there was a bit of intelligence there, but it was easily worked out. I've seen better. In fact, I think I've seen The Labyrinth, which was similar to that, but far better with the maze. Far better. You really need to go deep with this. You really need to create some artistic ideas, some things that will inspire people to watch it. Some people think, oh my god, this is amazing. No, it just wasn't. There's no adventure in there, and that's what that movie should have been about, an adventure within the maze. Many adventures. Maybe they could have gone over 2.5 hours with this, and they should have done. You need at least an hour and a half in that maze, as far as I'm concerned, to make it work. You need them to spend days and nights in there, to work out a campfire or whatever, because nobody's ever survived, so they've got to work out how to kill spiders or whatever. Trolls in it, zombie monsters, vicious dogs. I mean, tigers, zombie tigers and lions. You could really, really improve this movie. And of course, there should be some places to hide, some places to climb, like the tree branches that they show in the ivory, etc. You can hide behind. That's okay. That's fine. Working things out, how the spiders actually find you, etc. is fine. But the way it was done just didn't feel like it was working for me, and they could have really improved it. They could have really done a good job there, and it was disappointing in that respect. It could have been so much better. It was a good movie, don't get me wrong. 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 is pretty good. But I don't think it deserves a good mark, because it just didn't deliver with the maze. The whole story was about the maze. It was about a mystery and the maze and an adventure within it. There was no adventure within that maze. That's the big problem. So, first thing is, they should have made the maze bigger. And they should really do it again. They should do a similar movie to this again, maybe The Maze 2 or something. Be creative with this. Be creative. That's what I always say to these movie makers. Be creative. And I had to actually talk about this movie because it was one of the movies I was really looking forward to this year. I was really looking forward to it. And I wasn't feeling it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now. I don't know what you guys think. I mean, leave a comment down below and say what you think, because do you believe? How would you improve the movie? I know people might say, oh, it's a perfect movie, but no, there'll be areas where you think it could have been improved. How would you actually improve that movie? Think about it. I mean, if you actually say this, maybe the producers in the future will make a better movie. That's the difference, you know. The critical, when you come up with constructive criticism, you can change reality. You can change the way they do things. You can improve the movies of the future. Right? Thank you for watching. Goodbye for now. It's been a reaction. It's not really a review, by the way. Thank you. Goodbye.